Oh, I already do see.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Absolute Auction Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Miner. With me is my good friend Adam, as always. Adam, what's going on?
Good, man. Not a whole lot. Excited for the Superflex auction mock here. We're kind of like the Avengers. We've assembled some of Earth's mightiest auction drafters, and I'm excited to see how tonight shakes out.
Yeah, and speaking of the night, we got what, a 12-team Superflex mock going for you guys.
Yep.
$200. Adam, what's the settings on this? Just to make sure I don't get anything wrong on it.
Yeah, so we've got a $200 budget. We're going to start 3 wide receivers, 2 flex, and a super flex, and we've got 7 bench spots. So pretty deep rosters.
Nice. And it's going to be very great. And looking at the draft, Adam, you have the 4th selection, so I decided to go a little bit higher and go 9th. How are we looking on that right now?
Good. I think everyone is. I think everyone's in the lobby and excited. Looks like we're gonna have a great draft tonight.
I'm excited for it. Is there a reason why you picked the 4th slot or no?
No, just totally random.
Just totally random. Yeah, same with me at the 9th. I was like, you know what? Adam took it 4th. I was like, I'll either go 8th or 9th. I'm like, I want to meet in the middle somewhere. So let's see how this goes. It should be a lot of fun. So we'll go ahead and I'll bring it up here, and then we'll be able to kick it off, Adam.
Sweet. All right, let's start this baby.
And it's always so funny too. Like you look at it, and people will say, like, you know, where does it really matter where you're at in auction? Where it comes to like, spot, like, do I want to be the first selector or do I want to be the last selector?
Right.
And I just tell them, I go, it doesn't matter which one you are. You're on the clock no matter what.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, embrace it, love it, live it.
Yeah, and I could be in the minority here, but I tend to think that nomination, your nomination order, not quite as important as I think like your overall strategies for the draft, like how you want to construct your budget, how you want to construct your roster, how much you want to allocate your budget to each position. Um, I think that's a little bit more important than like your nomination strategies. That's just me, but I know that some people feel a little differently about that.
Yeah, like right off the bat, like Brock Bowers is first one nominated. I'm not really surprised. Like these first round players, like I like some people have the nomination strategy of like let me try to nominate someone later that man, get him for a bargain deal. And I don't believe in that. Like I've heard people say, like I was listening to Sirius XM on the way to work yesterday, and they were talking about an auction draft about throwing out like you want Kenneth Walker later, but try to see if you get the handcuffs to Zach Charbonnet. Like throw him out early. I'm like, why would you throw out Zach Charbonnet's name early? Like to me, that just seems like a waste. Looking at it.
Yeah, I think some people think that if you nominate someone a little bit farther down in the rankings, that you might be able to, steal them for a little bit lesser, less than you might expect. But sometimes that can backfire. I mean, we've always said every auction is different, every room is different. You never know how it's going to play out. So, that could end up backfiring. You might, in one draft and another, you might end up getting him for a really good deal. So, you just never know. But again, I just think having like a par sheet handy, what your strategy is going to be, how you want to construct your roster, how you want to allocate your funds. To me, that's more important than, where you nominate from, what spot you're in, or potentially, who you nominate. Because again, every auction is just so different.
No, I agree. Like absolutely. Like we said, like if we do this auction right now, we could have the same 12 people do it again, and it's all going to change.
Yeah, very true.
And surprisingly, like looking at it, like tight end, like names that are being nominated are kind of surprising. Like Brock Bowers being the first one nominated was the first one. Justin Fields was the second one. Like, so people are trying to either build a roster where they can get it for cheap, or trying to see like, hey, if I get this quarterback that I want, like no one's going to outbid me on it because it's too early.
Right.
Like Justin Fields has top 10 upside. So for draft hustle, let's say he's like number 8 on his board. If you get the number 8 quarterback on your board for $21, I would say that's a solid value.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes you just got to kind of go get your guys, the guys you want, the guys you believe in. Obviously you don't want to, potentially overspend on, somebody, but, Yeah, I mean, it's just you never know how these things are going to turn out. Tonight we've got some great drafters. We've got some guys that are really experienced in auction drafts. We've drafted with these guys before, so it's just going to be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out. I know that there's most people don't play in Superflex leagues. I personally really like them. I just think having a deeper roster, more players, more points, it's a lot of fun. Gives you a little bit more flexibility. And I just think Superflex auctions and Superflex drafts are just super fun. They're just so much more. I think they're a lot more fun than single quarterback leagues.
Yeah, like single quarterback leagues, a lot of people say like, oh, I do a lot of single quarterback. Like one of my leagues, my keeper league is a single quarterback.
Hmm.
I'm also in like our league that we're gonna be doing, which is another type of keeper league. It's gonna be a super flex.
Right.
And I keep trying to switch my league over to super flex, but they don't want to do it because then they were like, well, the quarterback values will go up even more, and then what's gonna happen there? I'm like, well, running backs will go down in value, wide receivers will go down, so you can get better value somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my sort of strategy this season, I've been so surprised at the value on wide receivers, especially later in the draft. So, like we talked about in our strategies episode, I've been really kind of hammering the running back position, even in PPR, and kind of just waiting for that late round wide receiver value to just kind of fall to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even in 3 receiver leagues, I think the value is just insane on wide receivers, and you can get so many good quality starters later in the draft, like a guy like Calvin Ridley, who's going to be the number 1 receiver on the Titans, and they're going to be, this probably a pretty high, prolific offense with Cam Ward, and they're going to be airing it out, and he's going to be their number 1 receiver, and they don't really have a whole lot of weapons there, so you know he's a great guy to target late. He's one of my flag plants this year, a guy that I really like. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like so far, like I'm actually quite surprised how the draft's been going. Like Nico Collins went for $37, Josh Allen being the highest right now with Bijan Robinson at 48, and then surprisingly, an early call on Tyler Warren. Tyler
mm-hmm.
Warren was a third player nominated, $4. If Anthony Richardson can do what he thinks he can do, Adam, is Warren worth the $4 at cost?
Well, I think maybe, and I could be wrong, maybe Greg wants to chime in here in the comments, but I think he was trying to potentially throw out Warren early and kind of like what we were talking about, seeing if he can grab him for like $1 or two.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that didn't work out. Maybe he wanted him for $1 or two, but he ended up, other people were bidding and he was like, oh crap, I really want Warren. Now I've got to spend another, dollar on him. So I don't know, maybe Warren he thinks is a good value for 4. Maybe he was trying to get him for $1 or two. But yeah, that was a little surprising to nominate him so early on in the draft.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like how long is it gonna take for Colson Lovin to come out if he comes out at all.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you're
here
nominated.
I'm nominating Jalen Hurts right now.
Okay.
Just trying to get the quarterbacks out there. I feel like the top 4 quarterbacks between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. Try to get those guys out there. Joe Burrow went for 38. I'm curious to see how much higher he goes, how much lower he goes. Is he gonna be less than Allen? Is he gonna be more than Allen? Is he gonna be more than Burrow? It's
Yeah,
gonna
and
be
especially yeah, and in super flex leagues, like obviously the quarterback value is going to be, especially at the top, it's going to be, a lot different than what you're going to see in single quarterback leagues. Um, but yeah, and I was kind of surprised, honestly, with Justin Fields going for 21. I thought that was maybe that seems to be like his ceiling on the value that we've seen. I've seen him go for a lot less in other drafts. But again, if it's someone that you really feel comfortable with having him as your starter, um, but that definitely kind of feels like his uh, his high price for him in this draft
yeah.
anyway.
So Roto Fanatic has Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. Just won Jalen Hurts for $41.
Mm-hmm.
Has $121 left in his budget, so he spent about 40% of it just on quarterbacks alone.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to put in on the quarterback, especially. I feel like if you get one of these top 5, and I put Burrow as number 5, that you should be good enough there and not try to bully at the quarterback. I mean, because if you bully at the quarterback, you might really screw yourself here, especially when you have 2 running backs last to fill, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex out of a $200 budget. That's a lot, you know?
Yeah. And we just saw, and Greg just got Lamar Jackson for, it looks like 46 and Josh Allen for 48. So he's even, spending even more on his quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see how their teams kind of pan out towards the end with a lot of roster spots still to fill and very early on in the draft.
Right. And there's still plenty of good quarterbacks out there. I mean,
Yeah.
If I talked many times about these quarterbacks, it's crazy how like good the possible top 10 are.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing like, other ones that are like 12 through 18, have QB1 upside. So I'll give a hint that what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go more later quarterback and not worry about it. So that's kind of why I'm just hesitating and throwing out the big quarterbacks just to get the money out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even in Superflex leagues, like some of the prices that we've seen on these later round quarterbacks have just been like really amazing. Guys like, Bryce Young, who's got that sneaky rushing upside, Brock Purdy, kind of the same thing, good offenses, they're going to have to throw a lot. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to kind of try to do the same thing in this draft, just kind of wait on quarterbacks, build out my skill positions, as much as I can, and just kind of see how the team shapes up.
Yeah, I like how some of these teams are shaping up. I mean, but that's the fun about auction is you can build the team however you want it, but within a reasonable cost. Like you can have it, but then you run out of money so fast. You're like, all right, I got these 3 players. Now I have no money to spend, and then you're trying to fill it in with $1 players, $2 players, basically players that you never really should be starting.
Yeah.
Like I like how Rashad J.W. went Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. You got your 2 running backs locked up. Almost half your budget is in your running backs right there.
Yeah. Andy got Bowers, so he's very top heavy right now.
Super top heavy. In a 10-team league, I wouldn't mind this. In a 12-team league, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Well, and you'd never be able to do something like that in a snake draft. We talk about that all the time, just how you just can't. Auctions just give you, well, like you said, you so much more flexibility and the way to build your team however you really want. And I think that's what we like about it. That's what we appreciate about it. And so yeah, seeing a team like that in a snake draft, you'd be playing in like a 16 league or something.
And Fantasy Ladder Steve got James Cook for $17. I'm actually surprised he made it that high, considering that he's holding in.
Right.
It's like, I mean, yeah, he dropped more than he probably would have if he was actually playing, but still, like, I still feel like $17 is too much. Are you in with me on this one, Adam, or am I solo?
I think that's probably his sweet spot. I don't know if I would go much higher than that. I mean, we
I
talked
go a couple dollars lower.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Cook, before, and I think he's probably one of the more overvalued players. I think when he eventually, if he does end his holdout and he does get signed and he shows up to camp and starts really participating, I think we probably will see his price go even higher than it is right now. I think this is probably a discount that Steve got just because of the uncertainty. But I'm still in the camp of, my feeling is that I think he's a little overvalued. I'd much rather, take a shot on, later in the draft, like Ray Davis, who I think is going to be a lot more involved in the offense this year. He's a 3-down back, legit 3-down back. Great pass catcher. So I think the Bills are going to involve him a lot more in the offense, regardless of what happens with Cook. But yeah, I don't know if I would go much more than what Steve paid for him.
No, and then next up is Justin Jefferson. He's going to go high.
Yep.
But he has a hamstring injury right now. Does that bug you at all on this? Or dang, he's at 42 already. He went from 21 to 42 in a matter of a click.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to go. He probably won't go as high as Chase, but he'll go higher than like Nakua. But I think his value, with Addison being suspended for the first 3 games, I think we're going to see, Jefferson, Hawkinson, their values go up. I wonder if McCarthy's might take a little bit of a hit. But he's still a great wide receiver. And I think 42, which is what Crimey River got him for. I think that's actually a really good price. I think close to the season starting, he's probably going to be closer to 46, 47, 48 like Chase. So I think that was a pretty good price for him.
Yeah, that was not a bad price at all. I actually liked it. So give me a 42. I'd be happy with that compared to Chase 48, just because you have wide receiver one overall capability, and you just save $6 in doing it.
Yeah. I'll see if I get Genty here for 39.
Let's see if you do.
See.
So yeah, you and I both don't have players yet, and you got Ashton Genty for 39.
And I really like that price. I think that's actually a really good deal for him. I think he's probably he probably has an opportunity to like lead the NFL in a run, touches for running backs. He's probably going to be right up there with Derrick Henry. Vegas, I think, is going to be probably not going to be as pass heavy as they were last year. So I think they're going to just feed Genty. He's going to have a good year, and for $39 in a Superflex league, I will take that every day of the week.
Yeah, and plus being a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, pretty much have turned out very well in fantasy that year. The majority of them have been top 10 running backs anyways. A couple outside of it, but first round is being a top 10 pick, well worth the cost.
That's true, yep.
And he went for cheaper for A-Chain.
Yeah.
Which was one running back I am super nervous about.
Yeah, I tried to get him, but ended up letting him go. A-Chain, he's been pretty polarizing. Again, his season's, going to be relying a lot on the health of Tua. Their offensive line is not great. But if everything goes the right way, I mean, he could end up having just a fantastic year. So I think there's a ton of there's high risk, but there's also high reward with A-Chain. He could, he might end up having like 70 or 80 targets, maybe even more in that offense, especially now that they've got rid of Jonnu Smith. An aging Tyreek Hill, Waddle playing in the slot. Tua's probably going to have to get the ball out pretty quickly just because of their horrid offensive line. So A-Chain could end up having a really good year from a PPR standpoint.
I hope you're right, but it just seems like him and Jonnu Smith were that offense, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle took the back seat. It's time for them to come back up to the front seat.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so anti A-Chain, because a lot of people are saying, he could have, 90 receptions. I'm like, but if he doesn't and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle do what they should do, then A-Chain should be falling.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those players where I think you're either like totally in on him or you're just totally off and just don't want to assume the risk. And I can see it both ways. I think he, again, a lot of it's going to be tied to the offensive line. If you think Tua can stay healthy this year, that helps. He had a much better year with Tua versus without him. So, but he's a player that could just explode. So there's that. I think 43 is a good price for him. I don't know if I would go much higher than that. That's probably the highest I would go for A-Chain. But again, he's very high risk, but extremely high reward, I think.
All right, my turn to nominate, and let's see what I let it do for $1. I always like to nominate $1. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God. PPR machine.
Yeah, and the Lions, their offense, it's been sort of a big topic this offseason. They lost Ben Johnson to the Bears, so a lot of people are like, oh, what's their offense going to look like? They've been talking up Jameson Williams so much, so are the targets going to be maybe not as there quite as much as they were in the years past for St. Brown and Laporta, but he's still a great player, still a PPR machine, like you said. I don't think the Lions are going to have, too much regression, maybe a little bit, but I think St. Brown still deserves to be in that, top 10 wide receiver conversation.
Yeah, and he went for top 10 price still at, $39 overall. I was a little hesitant. I thought about going a little bit higher, but there's plenty of good players still on the board, so you know what? I decided to let him go. Wasn't scared. Now, Malik Neighbors kind of makes me feel interesting because it's like, is he truly QB proof? Because these QBs, I would say, I mean, I can't really say they have to be better than last year's quarterback. So he has to be better than what he did last season.
Yeah. Yeah, the camp highlights we've seen have been pretty amazing. He seems like just totally unguardable, but you know, camp is different than in actual games. They also, the Giants also have one of the hardest schedules, in the NFL this year, which, you know, depending on how much stock you put in that, could potentially change how you feel about him and everyone on the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really have much of a wide receiver, room. I mean, Wandale Robinson, I think, is actually underrated. I think he's very good. But I think Neighbors is probably going to be right up there in the league lead in targets. It's just a matter of how much scoring opportunities he's going to have. But if everything goes right, if they can get some lucky breaks, then he could have a very good year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
such an exciting player.
yeah, I mean, especially with the harder off, like if you have a harder schedule, and it's so hard to like believe what the easier schedule is or the harder schedule is, just because you're based on last year's teams
Hmm.
and schemes and coaches and all that. If you're able to somehow figure it out, where like, yeah, based on the new scheme and these players, it makes more sense. But it's so hard to relate to that.
Yeah.
So to say like you're going up against like one of the hardest defenses,
Right.
like I'm curious like where a lot of these, because every site you look at has a different number.
Hmm.
No one's consistent. One can say they have one of the hardest schedules.
Hmm.
Another one says they have easy schedule,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, which one is it? And then you come to find out they're right in the middle. It
Hmm.
wasn't the hardest, but it wasn't also the easiest.
Yeah. And I like the price you got on Thomas for 33. That seems like a really good value.
I was just gonna say that. Like, holy crap! I actually got him for $33. So
Yeah.
I was kind of hating on him, but as you and I talked earlier in the season so far about how we like the Jacksonville Jaguars offense and how they can
Hmm.
actually take the next step forward, and what Brian Thomas did, I'm gonna take the chance here, especially at $33. I'm starting to get behind Trevor Lawrence. I've been hearing good words of how he's been looking at camp. So
Hmm.
my Brian Thomas hate, I'm gonna go ahead and say he's not exactly overpriced. He's still kind of overpriced because I don't think he'll be the wide receiver one overall. But at this price for auctions, I think this is a steal.
Yeah. I think that's a really good value for him. Yeah. And I think that, we were kind of talking about the Jags offense. I think it was last episode and, who potentially their starting running back was going to be. But I think we all know that Thomas is going to be their number one wide receiver. And, Lawrence has all the tools. I mean, he's never really put together like a surefire QB1 season yet. He was so highly touted coming out of college. Clemson, I think it was, he went to. And he's
Yes.
got some rushing upside. I think their offense is going to be very, very high powered this year. I think Thomas is going to have a good year. And for $33 for potentially, no worse than a top 10 wide receiver, I think in PPR, I think that's a really good deal for him. Really good deal.
Mm-hmm. So we have a question that came in about this one. Let me see if I can show it real quick, Adam.
Okay.
Off topic, but which side are you guys taking in a redraft half PPR league? Amon-Ra St. Brown, James Conner, and Mixon, or CD Lamb?
James Conner and Mixon?
Yeah, so you get ARSB, Conner, and Mixon or Lamb.
Oh, three for one?
I'm taking the 3-for-1. I'm taking the three. I want the three players.
I mean, if that's Nathan's question, then yeah, absolutely. If we're talking just, if they're all separate players, which one? I think it's obviously CeeDee Lamb, but yeah, I would take St. Brown, Connor, and Mixon over Lamb, even in half PPR.
Yeah, because ARSB isn't that far behind Lamb.
Right.
So right then and there, like it's almost even. Then you get James Conner.
Yeah,
He's
Connor
been fine.
is so underrated. He's such a great running back. He's very underrated. He did really good. He did really well last season. I had him in a league. So yeah, I would take the 3 over Lamb.
Yeah. And then Mixon's going to come back eventually. I mean, he has to.
Yeah.
So give it time, and he'll be back. Yep. Take the package. Ooh, Trey McBride. Look at tight ends are not going as high as I thought they would.
Yeah, well, whoa, $16 for McBride. Wow, that is a
That's a new
very good
that's a
deal.
new low. New low.
That it could be. That was a steal for sure. Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of auctions. Like you just never know how these things are going to go. You never know what kind of deals you're going to get, or on the other side of the spectrum, like what price some person might be willing to pay for a guy who just because they think he's a great player or he's going to have a great year or they just like them or the team. Like you never know which way the pendulum is going to swing in these types of situations. But yeah, for 16 for McBride seems like just an outrageous deal.
Right. Like I thought about it at first, and I'm like, no, because it seems like the top 3 tight ends are so expensive, and then there's such a massive drop from tight end 3 to tight end 4.
Mm-hmm.
I really just sit back and wait. Is that good value on McBride? I think so, but yeah. I'll pass on it even at that price still. Now we got Kyron Williams up, the newly signed extension. So you got like 3 years, like $33 million. I think with $23 million guaranteed. So
that sounds right.
It's not a high dollar value, but I mean, to be honest, I think that would be all he'd be offered anyways, even if he was on the free agent market.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's going to be basically this offense with the news that we've been hearing about Matthew Stafford about getting an epidural now.
Right.
So I mean, he'll feel good at Matthew Stafford work because he won't be in any pain. But how's that going to affect his throwing? How is it going to affect his timing?
Mm-hmm.
How's that whole arm strength going to be? It's a lot of if questions. If this were, if I do this, is it going to be this? So I don't know if he's going to like relearn it, or if the offense will just be fine, and we're just going to start getting values on these Rams players.
I think we are. I think the Rams players, we could potentially see them fall in value in auctions, especially if the news coming out of LA with Stafford is still kind of questionable, and we just don't really know what's happening. I kind of tend to think that this is probably going to be Stafford's last year. I mean, he's just had the injury list is just so long with him. And now, he's got this, new back issue that's probably going to need surgery at some point or something. I mean, it sounds like it's a nerve issue, which doesn't sound great.
Yeah, like nerve and disc.
Yeah. So I really wonder what's going to happen with him. I think this might end up being his last year, but I think you could end up getting some value on Puka and Adams potentially, and maybe even on Kyron. If people in your auction drafts are just going to steer clear of that whole situation. Kyron, it's funny. He kind of, I don't know why. It seems like he just gets disrespected every year. I don't understand it. I mean, he's not someone I'm necessarily like targeting or avoiding in my auctions, but it's very odd how people seem to just not really believe in him, even though we've seen it for the last couple of years. He doesn't catch a ton of passes, so his value might take a little bit of a hit in full PPR leagues, but he's, scores touchdowns. He hasn't been super efficient, I guess,
and that's what people are going to say. His inefficiency is way up there. So that's why they're not taking him. But it's at the same time, it's like, well, why not? Like if I can get a running back that's going to get all these carries, 20 plus carries a game,
mm-hmm.
touchdown upside like crazy, I don't care how efficient he is. I care about fantasy points, and that's what we all should be caring about is fantasy points. McVay doesn't care. If the scheme works, he's going to keep doing it. If you get 3 to 4 yards of carry, get 3 to 4 yards of carry.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we keep getting the first down, we get in the end zone. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
And that's all we should care about as fantasy managers. And don't, especially the ones that are saying, this is the year to get out on them now. No, it's not. Stay in on them. Follow your gut and just draft Kyron Williams.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid advice. We just saw McCaffrey go for 41, which again seems like a pretty good deal for him compared to what we've seen the other running backs go for in this draft. And again, McCaffrey is one of those guys where, health has been an issue, but everything looks great coming out of camp. The Niners have a super easy schedule this year. So I think McCaffrey's like one of those guys where you're going to be kind of be white knuckling it all season. Hopefully, hoping that he stays healthy and hoping that his knees can hold up. For $41, that potential league winning upside I think is great. Considering we saw A-Chain go for a couple dollars more, Barkley for more.
And you got Derrick Henry for $1 less.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather take Derrick Henry right now over Christian McCaffrey just because I think the offensive line is better in Baltimore than it is in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really in on Henry this year. Again, even in PPR leagues, again, he doesn't catch a lot of passes, but if you're in a league that, if they give bonuses for yardage or touchdown bonuses, he's going to be a massive, massive touchdown producer this year. Great offensive line. I think some people have Baltimore potentially going or even winning the Super Bowl this year, so they've got everything in the world to play for. It's going to be a very prolific offense, very run-friendly offense. That offensive line, like you said, is great. So yeah, I'm all in on Henry this year.
Yeah, so you got to look at the Super Bowl colors. That way, everyone can get their conspiracy theories of who's going to be in the January when we're all getting ready for the February game. It's like, all right, it's going to be this team, and nope, it's not. Oh man, I just missed out on that one.
Oh, Prescott.
Yeah, he is one quarterback I actually like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're getting from 20.
Yeah, now Dallas has a very hard schedule this year for quarterbacks and receivers, but I think we talked about it on a show previously where Dallas, their defense is in rough shape right now. Kind of like maybe not quite as bad as Cincinnati's, but they're another team that's going to have to air it out this year. And volume is everything in fantasy. We know that. So I think Dak is set up for a really good year. And yeah, $20 for him. I think that's a good price.
Yeah, especially in Superflex, not a bad price at all.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ Stroud just went for 15 right behind that, which isn't bad. But like we said before, how great is that offensive line? It's actually gotten worse based on last season, and we saw how Stroud struggled last season. So seeing Stroud going at 15, I could see that as being a okay value. I hope he bounces back. If he bounces back, I mean, that's tremendous value then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, another team that's probably going to have to air it out a lot. They don't have a ton of receiving weapons. And yeah, his offensive line is probably going to be pretty shaky all year. So we might end up seeing, a shorter ADOT from Stroud than we're used to. But yeah, if he ends up hitting, that's going to be an incredible value.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Mega Ibuka, one of my favorite dollar sleepers. He ain't going for $1 tonight.
Nope.
That's for sure. I mean, look at he's already pushing 8. He's already up to 8. Is he going to go over 10 now? I think he's going to go over 10. The news is going to be too real. Everyone must be listening to us.
I think, yeah, and I think people are just like freaked out about Godwin, which again, I get. Like he may end up starting the year on the pup, so gives a pretty good opportunity for Ibuka to really step in there and be the slot guy.
The ankle doesn't look that good.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. Like if you see that photo of that ankle, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you're gonna ask if you're still there, Adam?
I'm still here. I'm just watching. I'm not really focused on nominating. I'm just kind of watching and bidding as we go. But see AJ Brown, yeah.
Curious to see how AJ Brown. I still like the offense quite a bit, even with Barkley. Even everyone's saying, Barkley being on the cover, he's gonna take a step back now. He's gonna be injured. Okay, well, if he's gonna be injured, then who's gonna step up? Is it gonna be Goddard? Is it gonna be Smith? Is it gonna be Brown?
And I think we all sort of expect as a fantasy community for the Eagles to be a little bit more pass heavy than they were last year. So if that's the case, that's only going to help Smith and Brown. Brown's like just a super reliable player. I know he's got a bit of an ankle, I think, right now, or a hamstring issue, which
hamstring
has. But yeah, I mean, if they throw more, even just a little bit, that's going to be great. And yeah, $28 for Brown, like
Whew.
that's a heck of a deal.
I am loving this wide receiver core right now.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas and AJ Brown right now as my 2 wide receivers. Ooh.
Yeah, for 60, 61, if my total, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't complain. And then we got Bo Nix back on up on the line. So Denver's offensive line has actually gradually improved quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're supposed to be like one of the best, or not one of the best, but one of the top offensive lines out there. Also have Evan Ingram. Also extended Cortland Sutton. Got J.K. Dobbins, and you have R.J. Harvey. So you have plenty of weapons now around you. Bo Nix at $20. I love that price.
Yeah. Nix, he really showed out his rookie year, had a great season. It's going to be interesting to see how they, is it going to be J.K. Dobbins? Is it going to be R.J. Harvey? It'll probably be Dobbins to start out the year, but he's also sort of injury prone, so Harvey might end up getting a chance later on in the year. Dobbins had a really good year when he was with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he still has value. I mean, if he ends up being the starter to start the year, and maybe he can hold off Harvey, it might end up being a little bit of a committee. But yeah, that offense I think is looking really good this year, and a great defense. I mean, they've got one of the best defenses in the league to boot. So
yeah, and what's funny too is people are like, oh, he can't pass pro. Yeah, he's struggling in pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what rookie ever does really good in pass protection right off the bat.
Right.
Like it's so hard to like adapt that quickly and be pass pro ready. If you're an elite running back, you're able to do it. It's very hard when you're not elite running back. You're just another one of those running backs out there. Great running back, but like elite, generational talent, as people like to call it, are the ones that can usually do it. He'll learn it. He'll get it down. I won't be surprised if R.J. Harvey's more of a late in the year type player than an early type player.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got Marvin Harrison Jr. for 27, which I really liked. I was trying to hopefully he was going to stay under 30, and which he did. Happy about that. Wow, Greg just got an amazing deal on McConkey, $19. I looked away for a second, and boom, there you go.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Got to be focused in auctions, like every second.
Yeah, and like with you and I talking, it's so much harder.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to look around at the same time. We're trying to communicate. We're trying to answer questions as they come up. Or stay along in the chat.
Yeah, that was very good, Greg. $19 from McConkey. That's a very, very good deal. And Greg is in Britain right now. I think it's like almost 3 a.m. there. So we appreciate him. We appreciate him drafting with us. He's been one of our biggest supporters, mocking with us a lot. So we appreciate Greg a lot.
Thank you, Greg, because as me, this is my first time auctioning with you, Adam. You've done so many this summer, and I greatly appreciate all the work you've been putting in. Everyone else should be very happy. I mean, Adam has the best auction AAV out there that is true to the word.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hosting these mocks pretty much all summer long, trying to collect the most accurate AAV data available. It's sourced from these mock drafts, so it's coming from real users, it's coming from real drafters, so it's not a website, converting their ADP into AAV. It's actually coming from the market, showing what showing what you can expect to probably pay in these auction drafts. You can find it on our website. There's a link in the description of the video. Check it out. I put a lot of work into it. I really hope you guys like it, and I hope it's helpful in your auctions.
I love it. I mean, some people say, well, hey, my league's this, my league's that. You guys need to be able to change the settings. If you change the setting, that's a whole different type of formula you'd have to put into it just to make it adapt to other people's leagues. And it's so much harder. It's not even worth it. If you get the basics out there of how everything can work and kind of base it off that, use that percentages. But the bonus of it too, Adam, is it gives you a min and the max. It doesn't just give you the average. You can actually see, how low that player's actually gone for, how high they've gone for.
Yeah.
So it gives you more of a range idea of saying, well, he's $23. Yeah, but he went as high as what, 38 and as low
Right.
as what, 17? So
Mhm.
you have that value range in there. It kind of gives you an idea of what you can budget yourself with, or give an idea to budget yourself with.
Yeah, and I think that our AAV tool on the website on FaceOff, I think it's the only AAV that I've ever seen that actually shows graphical changes over time, which is extremely helpful when you're trying to plan out like your budget. I've never seen another website that does that. It's basically just a static number. So I think ours and the ones that we've done over the summer have been extremely helpful. And I hope that they will help out the auction community when their drafts are rolling around here pretty soon.
They should, because the other sites tend to use AAV based on ADP, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, some of them sort of use some pretty
Some
much like
formula.
yeah, some formula to kind of change their ADP into AAV, which doesn't suit, which is not really helpful at all. Um, and again, what's great about ours is that it's actually coming straight from actual users, actual people. It's not just arbitrary numbers that some site is making up. This is data that you can actually like see, going back, I think we started doing mock drafts in June, so
Yeah.
you can see the changes over time, which is super helpful.
Yeah, and it's nice to see like draft to draft to draft also. Like it shows in the graph like, hey, he went up, he went down. He's been
Mhm.
flatlined for 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden he went up.
Yeah,
Why did he go up all of a sudden? And then
yeah,
you can look it up and see the data and be like, oh, okay, this is the reason why he went up.
yeah. And I've been saying that it's not a it shouldn't be a it should really just be a guide to give you some clarity onto what you can expect to pay for these players. It's not necessarily like set in stone, but at least it will give you an idea of what you can expect. Obviously, again, every auction is different, but I think it will give you the most accurate data to help you in your drafts.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I even use it when I help do my part sheet to kind of
Hmm.
I divide it down just because like our math's a little bit different,
Right.
and then try to extrapolate it because it's a keeper league, so you have to throw in math out there because someone's going to get a cheap player, but how cheap were they as a keeper, and then how much expensive is that player that's thrown back in the player pool going to cost?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother animal we'll get into in a whole nother episode,
Yeah.
because we'll be doing I'm hoping we can get that draft on here also to show people kind of like how a startup keeper league looks, and then
Mhm.
next year what we would do, this is what the keepers are, this is how the draft's going to go, like give people an idea of to understand that yeah,
Yeah.
you might be able to get them at values this year because it's the start of the draft, but next year prices are going to change because you find that next Bucky Irving out there, you
Hmm.
got him for $1 or two this year. Well, no, you look in our draft now, Bucky Irving's $30. So right there, you already saved yourself $28.
Right. It wasn't $30 last year.
No, exactly. He was a waiver wire pickup or $1 player that people added to the end of their bench.
Hmm.
And then we just had Tyreek Hill go for 25. Not a bad price.
No, not bad. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the market kind of feels about Tyreek. Again, another one of those players. Again, just happens to be on the Dolphins that I think is very polarizing. We just saw his metrics and his efficiency just plummet last year. Was that part of the wrist? Was it him, possibly coming to the end of his career? Is he hitting that cliff? Um, but obviously still explosive player. He's league potential league winning upside. Um, and I think he was definitely top 3 in AAV last year. That's for sure, or top 5 at the very very least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting to see his value fall as much as it has, but he definitely has he definitely has the skills to win you leagues. And for $25, if he rebounds this year, then that's a great value for him.
Oh, super value. Yeah, like if he can jump back to be a top 10 wide receiver,
Hmm.
extreme value there.
Yeah.
Massive savings. I love it. I hope he does bounce back because I think he will.
Yeah. And the league is better for it.
Yep. Justin Herbert's back on the board now. I don't know, like this offense, it makes me wonder. It's like, is he going to pass because he's a high-paid quarterback, or is it going to be the Harbaugh type of way of just run, ground and pound the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Like Lad McConkey, like looked good last year, and then that's right, Keenan Allen signed yesterday?
Yeah,
1-year deal. So Keenan Allen's back in town.
Maybe that's why Greg got such a great deal on McConkey. Although I don't think that was. Maybe that had something to do with it, but maybe everyone was just asleep at the wheel.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
blaming the lagging.
yeah, I think Allen still has a little bit of value. I don't know if he definitely still has some juice left, although he's probably going to be more of like a flex play, this year, maybe a bye week filler. I don't know if he's gonna produce at like a wide receiver 3 level, but he definitely still has some flex value for sure, especially in a PPR league.
Oh yeah. And then we just saw Caleb Williams go for our first quarterback that's actually $10 or under. He actually went for $10.
Yeah, that probably has something to do with the camp videos and him just not looking so great this offseason. But man, he's so talented. They've got offensive weapons, out the wazoo. If he can put it together, if he can just get over this, maybe he's got a little case of the yips. If he can just get out of his own way and just actually play some football and be the player that we think he all can be, man, he's just got such great upside. And for $10, like that's a great value for him.
I hope so that he has a great upside because the Bears wasted a number 1 pick on it. But it's also the Bears, and I don't like the Bears as being a Lions fan.
Yep. Well, I'm a Packers fan, so right there with you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that also. I'm like, and you being a Packers fan, it's like, you know what? The Bears can struggle.
Yep. It's funny. You and I are still the only ones who have no quarterbacks in this draft. We're going super cheap on quarterbacks.
There's still good ones out there. Like I'm comfortable with the quarterbacks out there, and I'm willing to take the next step forward with one of these other quarterbacks.
Yeah. Ooh, Kamara for 17. That's a good deal, Steve.
That's a steal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that some of these players you can get later in drafts, and just the value. So you don't always have to feel like you got to pounce right away. There's definitely people that like to kind of hold back on a lot of their budget and just kind of sit back and wait, let for the higher price players to go first, let people drain their budget a little bit more, and then just pounce on those, those later round quote unquote players like a Kamara that you can just snag for super cheap, a great deal like Steve got.
Yeah. Here's a fun one for you, Adam. I know you're not a dynasty guy, but the question is,
let me see. Yep.
What's Cam Ward worth in a dynasty startup 16-team Superflex? More than a future first, right?
And I would think so. Again, I'm not a major player in dynasty. Maybe next year I'll finally get into it. But yeah, I would think that he would be worth more than at least one first. I don't know. You might be able to answer that better than I can.
I mean, as of right now, he was going as like a back end play in Superflex. So he wasn't like a high end one. Like the running backs were going first, the wide receivers are going first, and like I'd say he's followed like 5-6 depending. But with it being a 16-team Superflex, he might go earlier. Actually, no. I'm in a 16-team Superflex. He did go earlier. He went like 3rd overall.
Oh wow!
Just because the quarterbacks are so hard to get because you have 16 teams.
Right.
Think of it. You have a Superflex. Not everyone's gonna have 32 starting quarterbacks.
Right. Oh, and he didn't. And this is, I'm assuming it's a snake draft, not necessarily an auction. So, yeah, he would probably be top 5, I would think. And
he's probably gonna have to offer. I don't want to offer next year's first because the quarterback class is better next year. So I'd actually rather keep my first this year or my first next year, then grab a quarterback and not worry about getting Cam Ward this year. Yeah, the hype's great, but give me next year's class instead.
Any particular standouts next year? Is Arch Manning in next year's class, or is that the following year?
That's up in the air.
Okay.
Nussmeier from LSU is out there. You have was it Aller from Penn State? The quarterbacks are more prudent out there, easier to for next season than Cam Ward this year.
Okay.
I like the hype videos, but I rather see give me next year's class. I'd rather hold my first for next year than try to get rid of it for
Okay.
Cam Ward. That's a good question. Let me see if I can move it. Uh-oh. That's so many comments that I can't even get to it now.
Another question?
No, that one I can't get rid of.
Oh.
There it is. Now I got it. All right. We're back in the game again.
All right.
Back in focus. Surprisingly though, this draft we've been going for about 50 minutes already, and it's not as full as I thought it would be. I was thinking that like the board would almost be actually full.
Yeah, this is maybe taking a little bit longer, but not. I think it's pretty close to being on par. We've got some talented auction drafters in the room, which always makes the competition a little better. So we again appreciate everyone being here. A lot of these guys we've done mocks with before in the past. We've got some great auction drafters. Appreciate everyone's support with the mock drafts over the summer, and appreciate the support with the show. And so thank you guys very, very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. No, without you guys, we probably wouldn't be doing this. And we actually I posted on Twitter, Adam, about the comment we got.
Mm-hmm.
Best auction content out there. So that's what I've always wanted to strive for, is try to get the best auction content out there. And if you guys ever have any questions on anything, we'd be more than happy to help you out with your auctions.
Yeah.
And Trevor's Lawrence just went for $14, and I missed that. Darn it. It's like, what am I doing wrong here?
I really like the way is it Palmier 94 on the very end there. I really like the way his team is shaped out, especially again with getting McBride for 16. I mean, that was just like a killer deal, but I really like the way his team has shaped up. Really like Darnell Mooney, even though he's a little banged up right now with the shoulder. Again, super underrated wide receiver, Darnell Mooney. The Falcons ran the most 3 wide receiver sets in the whole league last year. They've got a full year coming on with Penix. So yeah, I really like the way his team is shaped up, and really like Darnell Mooney. That's a really good pick.
Yeah, and I just got Kyler Murray for $19.
Oh, there you go. See, now I'm the only one without a quarterback here.
Yeah, I couldn't let it go. Like I like my rushing upside quarterbacks. I still like Kyler Murray. Just get him off Call of Duty, and we'll be good. If him and Marvin Harrison can get the connection that we need, and Trey McBride can still be, he doesn't have to get all the receptions or all the yards. If he can just get the exchange it for a little bit more touchdowns, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, they've looked really good in camp. The videos have looked really good. Hoping for that second year breakout for Harrison. He had kind of a underwhelming rookie season, let's say. Still did pretty good. I mean, I think he still scored 9 or 10 touchdowns. Just don't think really the yards were there, but uber talented. So I'm expecting big things from the Cardinals offense this year.
I hope they can take the next step forward.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Let me see last year, if I can look real quick. He had 62 receptions, 885 yards, 8 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns, okay.
And a lot of people were saying he was a bust. So 8 touchdowns is still very good for a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So don't knock that. He's going to take the next step forward.
Yeah. I think he's going over 1,000 yards. I think he's going over 1,000 yards and another at least 8, 9, possibly 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he's pushed closer to double digits.
Yeah.
I would agree with that one.
Now this guy's interesting. TreVeyon Henderson, he's been in the news a lot recently. Like I've heard people say he's the next Jahmyr Gibbs, that he's going to supplant Ramondre Stevenson as the Patriots starting running back. Stevenson has fumbling issues. So Henderson is pretty interesting to me. Like if he ends up having that kind of Jahmyr Gibbs role for the Patriots, like that's going to be amazing.
Oh, I hope so too.
Here's an interesting one with McLaurin coming up now.
I'm out. I'm McLaurin. I am out. I am not touching him at all. He wants money. He wants to be traded. How's that work out for players usually? They take a fantasy step back.
Yeah.
So I'll let him be someone else's headache. I don't want him.
Yeah, he's talented. He's not someone again that I've been like specifically targeting in my auctions. Very consistent, obviously, over the course of his career, and obviously with Jaden Daniels now they finally have a great quarterback there in Washington. But yeah, it'll be interesting because I think with these hold-ins, it's going to probably suppress their value a little bit. We saw Steve who, he got James Cook for 17. Now we got McLaurin for 16. So he's buying the dip. Hoping that those guys can sign and perform like we know that they can. So if he's if Steve's obviously willing to take that little bit of a gamble, but if it pays off, man, you're looking at some great players for even better prices.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Calvin. Here's your boy, Calvin Ridley.
Here's my boy. Let's see.
Are you going to be able to get him? Are you going to get him?
Fingers crossed. 13. No whammies. No. Oh.
I was not going to be mean to you, Adam. I was not going to be like, haha, I gotcha. But nope, someone else did.
I'll go 15. Let's see.
I'm going to let this one slide because I want to see you get him.
Let's see.
Or see how high you're actually willing to go to get him.
Oh, there we go.
So you got your third wide receiver now. So now you have Atchin Genti, Derrick Henry, Marvin Harrison, T. Higgins, and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
That's not a bad start, even though you still have no quarterback.
Still no quarterback.
Does not look bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way my team is shaped out. I think everyone, here in the draft has done really well. Again, we're drafting with some really savvy auction players, some great auction drafters. Everyone knows what they're doing. So we appreciate everyone again being here, and this has been a great draft so far. And I love the way that everyone's teams have shaped out. Everyone, loving to see how everyone's, what their rosters are, what their plan was, how they'd like to spend their budget. I think everyone's been great so far.
Oh yeah, everyone's having a like when you get irritated during these kind of drafts, it's a good draft.
Yeah,
because you're like, you're just throwing all these words around. You're pissed off. That's when you know you have a lot of good drafters around you, and I feel that way right now. Even though I'm not expressing it on here, but I'm like, shit, like I miss a good player here. I miss another good player there. It's like, what am I going to do here? It's like, do I nominate this guy or do I nominate that guy? Or, what's this guy's strategy over here? Like, I'm sitting here constantly looking at the room, seeing what people need and seeing what their draft strategies are looking like. Like, like Pioneer 94 has a solid team.
Yeah.
But there's like, everyone, still needs, like, there's a couple teams that need running backs. There's a couple teams that need wide receiver. Tight ends are still available. The flexes always get me every time because I never know which way people want to go when they go to their flex. Being a PPR, you think, yeah, it'd be better to go wide receiver, but not everyone does that. Like, you got a couple of teams who have running backs at their slot. Actually, so far the flex spots filled by teams are running backs. So
all running backs so far. One tight end, but yeah, all running backs. And I don't mind that. Like I said, I've been trying to go really running back heavy this year, just because again the values on wide receivers have been so good. Yeah, you would think in a PPR league that people would kind of gravitate more towards wide receivers in their flex spots, but again, if you've got a running back in there like Jordan, he's got Jacobs and Henderson in his flex spots. I mean, his team is looking awesome right now.
Right?
His team's looking really, really sharp. He's got really good values pretty much all over the board. Yeah, his is another really good team that is really, really good.
And I'm seeing I'm in a bidding war for Jared Goff.
And you got him.
And I got him. So I'll take him as a solid.
Where's your line?
Yeah, that's right, my line. And people are thinking to take a step back, and I could see, people saying that, history shows that offenses take a step back when offensive coordinators leave. But I have faith in what Dan Campbell's doing with his offense. I think Johnny Morton will be able to take the step with his offense because he said he's not going to do a lot of the trick plays, but he's kind of going to finesse what's already there.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can finesse what's already there, Jared Goff's going to improve again this year. How can he improve again? I don't know. And where's he going to improve at? I don't know. More touchdowns? He's gotten better every year since he's been a Lion. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the uphill continues. If I can get him as a QB2 and he has QB1 upside, solid steal.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I like both my quarterbacks with Kyler Murray and Jared Goff, but for some reason I was high on Kyler Murray last year. That backfired. But here I am back on the bandwagon, ready to go.
Yeah, well, you've got your typical traditional pocket passer, and you've got your running quarterback in Murray. And if Murray ends up, running a little bit more, he's going to have a really good year again. I think I'm going to be probably pretty heavily invested in the Cardinals offense. I think they're going to be better than people give them credit for. They've got a fairly good defense. So I think they're going to be in the mix to score a lot of fantasy points this year.
Let's hope so, because if that's not, then this team would be possibly struggling.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, solid quarterback out there right now, Adam, and you still need a quarterback.
I know.
In case you forgot.
Let's see.
I mean, Brock Purdy has, he's a top 12 quarterback still, no matter how you look at him.
Yeah.
If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, I think this could bolster Brock Purdy because he can do dump offs. He lost Deebo Samuel. We still don't have Brandon Ayuk. Juwan Jennings is holding in.
Right.
Wanting more money, wanting a new contract. Who's he going to throw to? It's just going to be George Kittle then, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, I think McCaffrey is set up to, have a ton of receptions again this year. But I'll wait. I'll see if there's any cheaper quarterbacks I can maybe get. Like again, I think Bryce Young is going to have a good year. He's probably going to be someone I can get for pretty cheap.
Yeah, you got Bryce Young out there still. Matthew Stafford, I mean, a lot of questions out there on him.
Right.
Geno Smith in Vegas, how's that whole offense going to look now with Pete Carroll there at the helm?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Anthony Richardson, does he bounce back and have that top 5 upside? Does Sam Darnold pick up where he left off out in Seattle now compared to what he was doing in Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Does the 7-year come out finally happening, 2 years in a row for him?
Yeah.
You got Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. And then we have what? Oh, don't forget about Joe Flacco in Cleveland. There's still opportunity there.
Yeah, he's actually been pretty good for fantasy. Flacco has been.
He's like an ageless wonder. I think he's been playing since I was in high school.
Yeah.
Just kidding, because I was like over 20 years ago now. So, but not to age myself, but yes, I am. Been out for that long, at least.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into the part of the auction draft now where I think you're going to start seeing those values get sort of better and better for these late round kind of guys. Kind of when people start having the majority of their rosters filled, kind of when you can start sneaking in some of these values. Again, especially on wide receiver, the values have just been like amazing.
Yeah. And there's some teams that have a lot of money out there. There's some teams that have almost no money out there.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like there's still plenty of money out there to spend on these players where it's not like you're gambling on these guys that, let's see, let me throw a name out there that no one's going to know. Well, I won't go that far. But we'll say like Alan Lazard or Elijah Moore, like you're not throwing that $1 out there because that's all you have left.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to get name brand players out there that are still available. Mike Evans is still out there. Devontae Adams, DJ Moore. There's plenty of good receiver depth out there still. Running backs are out there so good. They're getting a little wishy-washy, but there's still some names out there that are worth grabbing.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks, I mean, Adam, we're starting to get thin on those quarterbacks. Tight ends, they're still out there, which I feel this year, top 3 tight ends, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah.
So if you want a top 3, you're going to be paying up for them at 4 through 20. You won't be paying as much. Especially as I get my boy Travis Kelce at $8. I can't complain about that.
Yeah, especially we still don't know what's going on with Rashee Rice. Sounds like his suspension might end up being possibly 4 to 6 games. So just don't know. If it ends up being in that range, I think you'll see Kelsey's value go up a little bit, and Xavier Worthy, his price will probably go up a little bit. So it's interesting to see how those, the suspensions kind of change things in the fantasy landscape.
Yeah, and then speaking of fantasy, or not fantasies, speaking of suspensions, Jordan Addison has a 3-game suspension now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one that's going to be interesting out there to see what happens. So that's why I'm going to nominate TJ Hawkinson, because could Hawkinson put out that top 5 upside? But with it being only 3 games, is it actually going to be worth the true investment now?
Mm-hmm. And already, I think this is probably, $9 right now. I think that's probably close to the most expensive I've seen Hawkinson go for in a while. He's always been more like 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, but 9 is, I think, the most I've seen him go for in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm sure that it's all related to the news about Addison. So
right.
It makes sense. You gotta prepare and take into account these situations and just prepare and pivot if you need to.
Oh, absolutely. And then this is an opportunity you want to pivot in. Especially if you have money left. And money, as I said earlier, money's starting to get low on some of these guys. You have money left, Adam. I have money left. FL Steve has money left. Crimea River has money left. I'm going to cry river over that. But we're basically the ones that have the most money left as we're sitting back here waiting. And you are still waiting on a quarterback, and we've been drafting for almost an hour and 10 minutes. Adam, what is your strategy on this quarterback?
I mean, I was going to try to I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go in and see who I can get. I was thinking I was going to try and get Purdy, but he went a little bit more than what I wanted to spend. Just going to try and fill out my team with some more positional players and just kind of go a little bit lighter on quarterback than I maybe had intended to at the beginning of the draft. Almost got Metcalf, but
so when you go this cheap on quarterback, do you try to go 4 and hope that 2 of them become the best, or do you still aim for 3 at max?
No, I think in this situation you should probably try to get a 4, because you're probably going to be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. So you're probably going to want to try to get at least 1 extra one if you can. I think typically in most Superflex drafts, most people draft 3 quarterbacks. Sometimes you'll see people draft 4, but I think I'll try to probably draft 4 here. It just kind of depends on who's left at the very end. But I think I'm going to try to go in on Bryce Young. I don't want to pull up my tab here just to see who else is available.
All right, nice one. Devontae Adams for $12.
There you go.
I'm loving my team, actually, as I'm looking at it right now. So I got Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I like your receivers, yeah.
Cool. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, questionable, but going for $10 for a running back who we were pushing as a high on RB2 last year, if he could bounce back to anything like that, I'd spend that twice on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it gets to the point where it's like I really have him over David Montgomery for $2 more. I'm a huge David Montgomery fan, but
yeah, of course, yeah. I think the upside is probably more so with Pacheco. Just offense is probably going to be a little bit more especially with this year with the offensive coordinator change in Detroit, probably going to be a little bit more prolific in Kansas City. So yeah, I like that.
Oh, thank you for doing that, Adam. For hitting the offer button on Jerry Jeudy. I was like, I don't want a Brown on my team right now. Not yet. But hey, you got Jerry Jeudy for $9.
Sneak him into my flex there.
There you go. Travis Hunter. Now, this is one that you and I were talking about off the air.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a rookie draft, and I was like, Travis Hunter just fell to me in the 107. I'm like, do I pull the trigger? Or do I go and make a Buka? And you told me Hunter. I gutted on Hunter. I'm not going to lie. I sat on it for like a day. And I was like, I should go with Buka. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going Hunter because I'd feel bad if I don't have Hunter. So I took Hunter.
All right. Nominating Young. I'm going to get him.
You got to get your guy here.
Let's see. I'm gonna try.
I mean, I won't say like what's your highest you're gonna bid on him, but what's your highest you're gonna bid on him?
Probably about maybe
or range. How about your range?
Maybe like 13. Maybe it's probably my highest. I don't know if he would go that high, but I think the Panthers are gonna have a pretty good year this year. Again, another team that's defense is not looking great, so they're going to have to throw a lot. Young is probably good for 20 to 40 rushing yards every game, so he's got a good floor. Again, they're going to have to pass a lot. They've got a new rookie in McMillan who looks really good. So yeah, I'm happy with Young as my quarterback for $10.
Yeah, $10 is your QB1 right now. If the upside's real and he can pick up where he left off last season, he was QB6 during that last 4 or 5 weeks of stretch. So a lot of people don't have faith in him. I have faith in you, Adam, and I agree with you on getting Bryce Young. Risky as a QB1, but hey, that's what makes auctions fun.
Well, and again, I mean, if he can get 17, 18 points a game, that's fine. Like, you don't need, even in I think a Superflex league, you don't need your quarterback to score 35 points a game. You can get your quarterback, 17, 18, 19 points a game on average, which I think he can for $10. I'll take it.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you've got shored up your roster elsewhere.
Now we got Tony Pollard coming up. A nice, good running back still. Plenty of rush attempts. The yards haven't been really there, and neither have the touchdowns, but the efficiency is still good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Pollard this year. I think he's a good. Yeah, I think Rashad got him as his second flex option behind Irving. He's been going very, very RB heavy, which I like. Pollard's going to be the number one there. I really like that for $9. Tony Pollard is your second flex option. I really like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal at all.
Yeah, his team's really good too. I mean, obviously he doesn't have any receivers, but the way his team is shaping out, it's looking really good.
And the funny thing is, like, we all start spending fast early. Well, I wouldn't say we, but the room starts spending fast and early, and there's still plenty of great players out there, great values that can be had.
Mm-hmm.
Rashad JW just said 0 wide receiver. Let's go. He is truly going 0 wide receiver here.
I like it.
Hey, if it works. Oh, and that's the one that always blows my mind is when people say, what's the best strategy? They're all great strategies. It's all about how you draft, how you play the waiver wire, and how you do trades.
Yeah.
It's not the strategy's not going to matter.
Yeah, and I saw that Greg said something about he was surprised I didn't go in on Penix for 6. Yeah, I probably should have. That was probably a goof on my part. But I'll take Bryce's rushing upside over Penix, I think, for a couple extra dollars. Even though I think Penix probably has better weapons around him, I think Bryce has probably a safer floor and possibly even a better upside than Penix.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel.
Trying to see here. That's what I want to do. Do I want to go into Jameson Williams?
Mm.
Jameson Williams fan. Got the jersey. Of course, I have the number 9 jersey, not the number 1 jersey. Oh, I overpaid for him. But I got him for $14. But I wanted to have the stack with Goff.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a fun stack. Could go deep. But hey, why not? And Steve and I were going back and forth on JMO there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I like him as a high-end wide receiver 3. I feel like having him as a wide receiver 4 at $14. I'm getting to the point now where I'll have to fill his one flex spot. I have $32 left. I have a max bid of 25. This is where the point now where I'm gonna start filling in the last flex and trying to add depth pieces here because I already have everything I need besides flex. So, and there's still plenty of good players out there. I'm in a comfortable position, Adam.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, like we're kind of doing the show and we're trying to do like 3-4 different things at once here. It's makes it a lot more difficult than when we're just focused squarely on the draft. But this has been a really good draft so far, and again, thank you all for being here and participating, and we appreciate each and every one of you.
Yes, and thanks for rushing me home, Adam. Get me on here and doing this draft with you because it was well worth it. It's a nice break from reality.
Yep.
I'm just still waiting to see what Rashad JW is going to do with his wide receivers because there's still plenty of wide receivers out there that can be had.
I love his 0 wide receiver build this year. I've been saying, and I didn't particularly do it this draft, but I love the strategy this year. I mean, look at his team. His team is like stacked. So depending on who he gets, so far, loving his team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always usually a fan of running back heavy, but I'm also a fan of zigging when everyone's zagging. And it seems like everyone's in love with running backs this year. So I go wide receivers. Where last year I did a draft where I went heavy running back because everyone's in love with the receivers. And that one paid off the most.
Yep. Yeah, to me, it seemed like last year the value on running backs was pretty astounding, where it seems like this year it's more towards the wide receivers, which is why I've been typically moving towards kind of a more 0 wide receiver build or a modified 0 wide receiver build, as you could say. Just sort of hammering the running back position. So I'm curious to see who Rashad's going to get there at the end, but I like his team so far.
Yeah, I can't complain too much about it.
See if I can get my Superflex quarterback here.
I was going to say, but not today.
No.
I'll go down more. Oh,
yeah. I've got money to spend.
That you do. That you do.
Although you do too, but
I mean, I thought it'd just be fun to add $1 onto it for
there
you. Get a little banter going on back and forth, have a little bit of fun, some giggles. Here we go, Chris Godwin. And it's amazing how late this draft already is, and Chris Godwin's just getting nominated now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy. I mean, if he ends up getting healthy and can slide right back into that slot role, he could end up being a great value this year. It really just depends on what you think about his health and what he's going to be able to do later in the season. Because I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't end up on the PUP list at this point, but who knows?
It's just crazy. It makes me nervous. Like, I think he's going to start. He might start off on the PUP. I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But like when he was playing last season, he was at like a top 5 wide receiver. Like Evans was the one that was falling down. Wasn't even basically worth starting. And then Godwin gets hurt. Evans gets 1,000 yards receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And the story's over.
Right.
Now Godwin's back out there, but he's not being able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That ankle is like a freaking softball down there.
Yeah. How much did Worthy go for? I missed it. Oh, there it is. $11.
questionable. But he's such a boom bust type of wide receiver. But let's see, where'd he go as a flex play? Would he be flex or is it bench?
Third wide receiver for Be More Like Moses.
Yeah. So questionable. I mean, you had Puka Nacua and CeeDee Lamb, two solid wide receivers there.
Yeah, I mean, if Rice ends up getting a lengthy suspension, Worthy
Worthy could explode.
He could, absolutely could.
Trey Benson for those James Conner haters.
Interesting.
If someone thinks something's to have James Conner, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
Just probably get the handcuff running back. Only goes for $3. $2. Not even $3. Ooh, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
Just signed a wide receiver 1 extension.
Yeah. Another one of those guys that's going, number 1 wide receiver on his team that's going pretty late in drafts and, obviously not going to have probably as good of a season as, like a Lamb or a Jefferson or whomever. But again, a wide receiver 1 on a team that you can get towards the end of your draft for, this kind of a price right now. I like it.
Oh, yeah. I was going back and forth with Crimea River, but I'll let Crimea River have him for $13. He had a little bit more money than I do. But I actually had quite a bit. I almost had twice as much. So let him spend a little bit. I'll throw another wide receiver out there, which is one of my favorite. And I'm going with George Pickens. Now Rashad just hits his max bid and just goes $8 right off the bat.
Yeah, let's see. Might work.
Nope, it's not going to work today. Not today. Sorry, Rashad. I want to see how well your 0 wide receiver build can really go. So we're going to see how low you can go.
Where did he go? I missed it. I was looking at something.
On Pickens, he went to Crimea River.
So
he got Sutton and George Pickens in back-to-back picks.
I like that. $10, yeah. I think Crimea River, it looks like, I mean, he might end up having some money left over at the end of this draft, or he's going to end up having to possibly overpay on some guys just so he doesn't leave money on the table. Steve could be in the same situation. Steve's got only a couple more bench spots left as tight end to go, so he might end up leaving a little bit of money on the table too. We'll see.
Yeah, my goal is not to leave any money on the table.
Yeah, that should be your number 1 goal in every auction. Don't leave money on the table.
Oh, never. Never, ever, ever. Let's see. So Mark Andrews is out there. You know what? He has the touchdown upside. I'll throw another $1 on there.
Yep. Steve might have heard us. He might be trying to burn through his money right now.
Let's see how much money he's willing to burn.
Yeah. I mean, it's more expensive than Ingram and Kelsey, Hawkinson right now. So, yeah.
I let him go for $10.
Yeah.
With already having Kelsey, I don't want to have.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be great to have them. They're both elite, and it was a tight end premium, but
right
outside of that, like, nah, I'll just take my chances with him. Move on. Find another tight end. Give me my love for Kyle Pitts again. I'll take him for $1 or $2. Speaking of tight end, Adam, you don't have one, but you're bidding on Dallas Goedert.
I'll see here. Yeah, Goddard, he's very consistent. He's never, I think if I remember correctly, he's only had one top 12 finish, I think, in his whole career, if I'm not mistaken, and it was like several years ago. So he's consistent. He just doesn't have a lot of upside. But again, if Philly ends up throwing more, if Brown or Smith gets injured, he's got, that makes him a priority target in that offense. So yeah, for $3, it's not bad. I mean, it's less expensive than Greg got Tyler Warren for. So
that is true. With Tyler, that's what happens sometimes. You have the early nomination. It's like Tyler Warren and Dallas Goedert are basically the same, but did you really save anything, or did you spend more?
Right.
Ooh, Travis Etienne. Here's a fun one.
Yeah, we talked about him on the show the other week.
Yeah, we talked about him and Tank
Bigsby.
Bigsby.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gets that starting role.
I'm also very curious. See, Travis Etienne goes for $8, so I mean that's still very good value, still cheap enough. Curious to see if he can steal the role or if it's going to be Tank Bigsby this year.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? And then finally get Matthew Stafford out there. This could be a cheap giveaway.
Oops.
Hey, Rashad J.W. got his quarterback. Now he's got another quarterback, so now he's got Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield. So not bad as long as I mean, if Stafford comes back week 1 and plays week 1 like he normally should, wow, that would be great. But if Stafford's hurt, that's $2 that was wasted.
Here's a guy I really like, Jacoby Myers, another very underrated.
Dude, he's super underrated.
Yeah.
Just because like he gets like all these targets, all these receptions, it's just the touchdowns are never there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sucks. It's like, he'll have like 120 receptions, 1,200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't, scream fantasy points for me. It's just like, yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, he's very consistent, very consistent player.
Yeah. Dwan Jennings doing a hold in, wanting more money. That's what I was talking about earlier about San Francisco and Brock Purdy. And if Dwan Jennings were to say, like, you know what, just play for your $7.5 million. I mean, I'd be having someone to offer me $7.5 million just to play football. I would do it. Would I be destroyed? Absolutely. But hey, why not?
Yeah, I think I could be like a 4th string quarterback, don't you think?
Yeah, water. I can get waters. I can grab towels.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your helmet on the heat warmer. Whatever you need. All right, Adam. You know what? This draft's starting to look pretty good.
Yeah.
We can do a quick overview of the teams. Looking at it based on what we see now.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite team?
And
why is it mine? Just kidding.
I think my favorite team from top to bottom so far, just the way that they've drafted, the way they've sort of allocated their funds. I mean, again, he doesn't have a receiver, but I love the way Rashad has played this. He went, fairly cheap on his quarterbacks. He pounded the running backs. I love that. Palmier 94's team I also really like. He's got a great wide receivers. Again, Darnell Mooney, I love him. Totally underrated. He got a steal on McBride. I really like the way his team has played out. Everyone's done a really good job. I don't think there's like a glaring weakness or, a team that's like, super weak in any area. Rashad still has to get his wide receivers, but I think everyone's done a really good job. And I think you can see that, like I said, these guys are all great auction drafters. Done some mocks with these guys. So these are very experienced drafters we're with here tonight. And I hope it was helpful and useful to those out there and watching. And thanks for tuning in. Again, if you guys have questions, please reach out. And we hope to have you guys continue supporting the show. And again, thank you all very, very much.
Yep. Thank you guys very much. And like Adam said, reach out to us, hit us up on, email us, absoluteauctionpodcast@gmail.com. You can find Adam and I on X. You can find Adam at Always Auctions. You can find me at Ryan_FFB, or you can even hit up the show with FF Auction Pod.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll definitely be help you guys out in all your auction prep. Anything that you need, we're here for you. We won't. We might not reply right away, but hey, we'll get out to you.
We will. Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We'll finish the draft off the stream. But hey, you know what? We'll catch you guys next time.